Welcome to the Big Saturday Show. The big story tonight, self-described Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders defending Biden's student loan handout as the Supreme Court considers the constitutionality of Biden's plan. The senator is adamant that the loan cancellation, which some estimates put the cost at more than $400 billion to taxpayers, is not a giveaway.
The Supreme Court is looking at Biden's giveaway to people who own debt.
Giveaway is your term, not my term.
Well, they have college debt loan, yeah. Okay, and we're going to give them money.
We're going to forgive debt.
Well, we're okay.
So when you talk about giveaways, you have major corporations in this country that make billions in profit don't pay a nickel in taxes. The truth is you got a generation that, everything being equal, the younger generation will have a lower standard of living than their parents. And right now, these young people are leaving school deeply in debt. They're struggling economically. They deserve a break.
Conch, I'll begin with you because they deserve a break.
The problem here is that this is a dishonest narrative and argument that the senator is making here. 50% of these loans go to those who pursue graduate degrees. Those are people that become doctors and lawyers and economists, right? So they're the type of people who could pay back the loan. They don't need the handout. Second, what do you think universities are going to do when they see this passed or see it come into law, or if the Supreme Court, for whatever reason, doesn't shoot this down? They're going to raise tuition. And all they're going to say is, well, just get a loan because it's going to be forgiven anyway, right? And then if you're a student like my wife, medical school, she had to pay her way through. She paid off her loan. Is she getting a retroactive check? And then when these tuitions actually go up in the future, then those students are screwed. So it's only a Band-Aid. It doesn't fix the bigger problem, which is it costs $80,000 a year to go to Georgetown, where my wife went, Stanford, Duke, Harvard. You're talking $320,000 to send your kid to school. You got to clear $500,000 before taxes just to afford to send one of your kids to a private institution. And so Larry Summers, who was the Secretary-Treasurer under Bill Clinton, right? He's obviously the senior economic advisor to Barack Obama. He says this move will only raise inflation. Other than that, great job, Bernie.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And way back in the dark ages, everyone will remember this except for you because you're so young. But Bernie Sanders is the one who came up with student loan forgiveness a million years ago. And remember, when he came up with it, everyone thought it sounded crazy. And he kind of got blown off about the whole thing. And now here we are trying to we have the U.S. Supreme Court trying to make a major decision on all of this money that's going to be spent. But one of the questions is how much does he even understand what it is he's discussing? And I'm going to go to the soundbite and then I'm going to come to you, Kat, because we can hear him also talking about equality and equity. Take a listen.
How would you differentiate between equity and equality?
Well, equality, we talk about, I don't know what the answer to that is. Come to think of it, equality is equality of opportunity.
Equity, I think, is more guarantee of outcome, is it not?
I think so. I think that's
okay.
Yeah. Nailed it. Eventually. That is what the difference is. Look, I think he's right about one thing. I don't know if I count as the younger generation or not. I'm 34 years old. I do feel like I deserve a break. What I deserve a break from is now that, I did pay off my loans. I chose a school based on the scholarship that I got, and I got into Columbia Journalism School for grad school, and I unenrolled because I was like, how am I going to pay back this $80,000 loan on an entry-level journalist salary? I never will. So I interned, waitress. I worked really hard. I finally started to make some money, and now they're taking so much of it from me in taxes, and then all of this stuff that I can still keep is worth so much less because of inflation. So I would like a break. I would like to be left alone. That's what I would love. And again, that is unfortunately quite typical. Politicians, they run off of sound bites. They don't really even know what they're saying. They make laws. It's often way worse than just an interview with Bill Maher, okay? They don't know what they're talking about when they vote for something that impacts all of us.
But Charlie, Kat brings up a great point about self-responsibility. You took the time to stop and reflect on what it was you were going to take on and what it would mean in the long run. I think that there are so many people out there who are weighted down with student loan debt, and it's enormous. It really is daunting. But there are a lot of people who really don't stop and think about what's going to happen in the decades to come when it comes to paying it back and the ability to do so.
Yeah, which is the most fundamental version of self-governance, is governing your own, making your own decisions and governing your own behavior so that you get what you want. And I love that he gets all upset about the fact that the guy is calling it a giveaway. He goes, that's your term. Well, what would he prefer? Political corruption? Because that's what this was used for. This was used to buy votes in front of the election. I call it reparations for rich kids. But underneath it all, it really does, I think it reveals the entire political sort of view of the world that Bernie Sanders has, which is that all the money you make, Kat, belongs to the government.
Right.
What you get to take home is just what they let you take home. And the fraud here is that, of course, these kids that love this idea of getting their loans paid for by somebody else, they're not understanding the fact that Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden believe that all the money even the money that they give to them from other taxpayers doesn't belong to them either.
Right. It's not really even a giveaway, because that'd imply that Biden was the one giving his money, which, if you want to forget, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and pay off some people's student debt, but don't take money from me.
Well, and also, to the senator's surprise, when people are getting all of that money, when they're getting their student loans, they're not necessarily spending it on school stuff.
And this is, again, why people sometimes, I think, question some of what you're saying. This is a survey, student loan forgiveness recipients. 73% of applicants say they are likely to spend their extra money on non-essential, including vacations, smartphone, drugs, and alcohol. They admitted that to the pollster.
Who is this pollster?
NBC News.
Conch, I'll give you this one.
This is why Bill Maher is actually a very watchable show, right? Because he's unpredictable. He doesn't toe the party line. He came prepared for that interview. One last point in terms of numbers. 34% of Americans have a bachelor's degree, all right? 1/3. So what about the other 2/3? What does that say to those people, to Kat's point earlier? Does the waiter or waitress, single mom, construction worker, steel worker, do they get a check because they didn't go to college? This is why the Democrats used to be the party of the little guy. Now they're the party for the elites. This is Exhibit A right there.
Yeah. Nothing makes you feel better than going working hard so that, college kids can buy party drugs for spring break.
Yeah. College kids.
And of course, at the end of the day, your point is the most important one, which is, obviously it does lead to inflation. But the most important thing of all of it is that this is it's a bailout for colleges and universities that have already jacked up tuitions to places where no normal person can afford to pay the tuition anyway. And this is just going to make it more expensive and more unaffordable for people that might like to enter this part of the workforce.
Well, and during the Q&A between the justices and the government, one of the justices asked, okay, so you relieve this loan for this person who wants to go to college, but what about the person who took out a small business loan to open a bakery, to become a mechanic? What happens to that person, right?
Right. Well, part of the reason we're in this situation is we have sold this lie to people that whatever money you spend, as long as it's on your education or whatever loan you take out of furthering your formal education, it's worth it. And that just isn't true. You need to be doing a cost-benefit analysis. Okay, what is this degree I'm getting? What kind of money can I be expected to make coming out of school with this degree? And can I pay for this loan? You need to be encouraging people to have these conversations rather than just saying, oh, it's all worth it, because we're seeing now it's really not. And Charlie, as you point out, everyone's saying, okay, it's not fair to people like me, or it's not fair to people who didn't go to school. But as you mentioned, it's also not fair to future students. It's already so expensive, and this is going to make it so much worse.
And you know who else it's not fair to? Think about the parent who made the very difficult decision. They'd give anything to their child. But what they did was they sat their child down and said, we can't afford to send you to pay your tuition. So you're going to have to take another job. You're going to have to do all these things in order to get your... Now you're going to force those parents who couldn't even afford to pay for their own child's education to pay the tuition for some other kid and some rich kid who all they're trying to do is go to graduate school or something like that. Yep. It is so appallingly unfair. But that's what you get with socialism. That's what you get with Bernie Sanders. And the other thing about Joe Biden is Joe Biden has given these socialists everything they asked for. And that's why they're going to have a hard time finding somebody to challenge him in the primary, because he's given away everything to the left.
Can I tell you, my brother runs a contracting school, Partisan, New Jersey. And business is booming. Let's put it that way, because it's 1/10 the cost of going to college.
Yeah.
But he's training these kids to be electricians and contractors and mechanics, and they're getting jobs immediately when they get out. Good paying jobs.
Right,
So
exactly.
something to consider
Market needs
instead of
that.
paying the 4 years.
We will continue with this one, too.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.